Welcome to problem E1-12. This is a problem where you have to calculate missing costs. We're going to start out here by looking at the formulas. So the formula for prime cost is direct materials plus direct labor. Formula for conversion costs is direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. And the formula for total manufacturing cost is direct materials plus direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. Once we know the formulas for these costs, let me just type that back in there. Once we know the formulas for these costs, then we can backtrack and calculate any missing number. So we're going to start with case A. We've got this missing number of direct labor. There are a couple different ways that we might be able to calculate it. So we know that materials plus labor is prime costs. So we can calculate the direct labor by taking the prime cost and subtracting out the materials. Okay. That gives us 5,100. We should also be able to calculate that cost by taking conversion cost and subtracting out manufacturing overhead. That also gives us direct labor. Let's see if it works. Okay, 5,100, great. And then total manufacturing cost is simply the sum of the three product costs, materials, labor, and overhead. I'll just sum those up here. Great. On this one, we're trying to find prime and conversion costs. Those are easy because we know what the materials and labor costs are, and we know the overhead costs. This is simply materials plus labor. So conversion cost is simply direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. And we've got that case done. Case C, we're looking for direct labor. We'll have to backtrack into that. We don't have total manufacturing cost, but we do have conversion cost. So we do have prime cost, which is materials plus labor. So we can take the prime cost and subtract out materials. That leaves us with labor. We can subtract out now the labor cost from the conversion cost, and that will leave us with manufacturing overhead. And then we can add up materials, labor, and overhead. To get total manufacturing cost. Okay, case D, we're looking for prime costs. We know materials and labor, so that's easy. Materials plus labor is prime cost. Manufacturing overhead is going to be the total. There's a couple different ways we can get it. We can take conversion cost minus the direct labor cost. Let's try that. We get 34,100, or we can take the total manufacturing costs, subtract out materials, and subtract out labor. Again, 34,100. Okay, in our last one, we need to get prime costs, conversion costs, and direct materials cost. We have labor and overhead and the total. So there are different ways we could get direct materials cost also. I'm going to take total manufacturing cost minus labor minus manufacturing overhead. Okay. Once we know the materials cost, then it's easy to calculate the rest. Prime cost is materials plus labor. And conversion cost is labor plus overhead. These kind of questions are good questions to practice because they force you to really understand the relationships between these costs. It's also good to play around with formulas in Excel as much as possible because you'll use Excel all the time when you're out in the business world. Thanks for watching the E1-12 video.